Hey, what's going on YouTube? So this is another update on the Bertram, and I think it's a perfect time to do an update because we've got some things done here. Just right offhand, we've got the 4 coats of Pettit barrier coat bottom paint on. I alternated between white and gray. I started with a white coat, went to gray, then back to white and back to gray. That does 2 things. So it not only allowed me to get to be confident that I got a good coverage of material on the bottom of the boat, but also a benefit I didn't really realize I was going to get is when I sand it. As I sand the barrier coat, I can see how deep I'm going with the sand. With the sandpaper, I can see, okay, well, I'm through the first layer of gray. I'm getting into the second layer of white, and then there goes the 3rd layer of gray underneath. So I want to lay off sanding at that point, even if it could still be a little bit rough. But that's as far as I'm going with the sanding. I don't want to get down to where my barrier coat's not going to do me any good anymore. So then I had lowered the boat down, and I had lowered it down, but like I had pointed out in the video before, these jacks are not designed for the trailer this small. So they're designed for the trailer for a trailer that's got bigger rails. I got around that by adding these spacers in. I cut a couple of good sized steel spacers, and I got around that issue. That was an issue I knew I was going to have. Total Boat said clearly in their advertising that trailers this small it was not going to work on. I was like, I'm going to work around that, and I did. The problem I didn't realize I was going to have with these boat jacks is the fact that with the boat sitting down on the rollers, or sitting down on the bunks and the rollers, this piece is too long and it was beating into the hull of the boat. So I cut 5 inches off of the end of these so it would fit on there. I used those 5 inches. If we come back here, so here's the one on the back. I couldn't fit it between the and this is redundant to the other video I did. I'm just going to cover it quickly, but it wouldn't fit underneath the bunk, so I put it on this rail on the back. I used that 5-inch cutoff piece underneath here and one more spacer, and I got plenty of grip on this smaller rail, and made that work. But then when I lowered it down onto the trailer to paint the areas under the jacks were still too close to the trailer to get any kind of to sand or roll or anything. So I set these pieces of wood in here. That's a 4x6 up on end on those rollers, and I got 2 4x4s that are sitting on the bunks. That kept the boat up far enough to where I did the sanding on. I barrier coated where the jacks are, and then put all 4 coats of barrier coat there, sanded that area down, put 3 coats of Black Widow bottom paint on there, let that all dry, and here we are this morning jacking it up because we got some more work to do. But this area here done, and I made it work regardless of whether Total Boat didn't think that it was going to work for me. So although this doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing, what we got here is 2 coats of Alexseal primer on the sides. I put 1 coat on, and then like Andy at Boatworks today will pointed out in his video with Alexseal, is, man, that's when you really start to see, even though I did a guide coat beforehand, and I really tried to find all the nooks and crannies and anything I could fill in. When I put that first layer of not barrier coat, but Alexseal primer on there, I saw a lot more dings and pinholes and stuff like that when it was a uniform color. So I sanded that first layer. I faired in the holes, fixed all the little problems that I saw, and then sanded it down. And then I repainted it with another coat of primer and found more issues. So there's only one thing to do if you want a good looking boat at the end. I fared in those problems. I didn't really want to do more work than I had to, but there you are. So I filled in all the other little nicks and crannies that I found with a total boat fairing compound, the total fair, and then sanded that layer off. So now when I go on, when I do this a third time, any nooks and crannies I find after that, it is what it is. So here's something else I'd like to show, because what I'm gonna do now is get a good water line on the transom. Now these water lines, I feel like as long as I come the same distance up from the bottom of the chine, I'm gonna have and of course this where the hull starts, this line here, I feel like I can find a good consistent water line along the whole side of the boat that matches the other side of the boat. And so I'm not worried about the sides at all. But the transom, this is a problem. Like, unless you set the boat in the water with sawdust around it and stuff like that, and mark your water line as it sits in the water, and that wouldn't work anyway, because my boat sits a little, it lists a little in the water anyway, so it has a little bit of a list. I'm not really sure why that is. It's something I will deal with later. But if I tried to find a water line that way, then I would have it wouldn't be a perfect water line. So I had to find a way to make a perfect water line, and that's getting the boat absolutely as level as I possibly can. And these jacks make it super simple to do that. So I have a 4-foot level up here, and I set it on the top hatch, and as flat as I could on there, and you can see that the level, the bubble in the level is pretty square. I did that by raising and lowering the jacks until it was pretty perfect. Got it? That center, yeah. Okay, and then if we come around the back, follow me around the back real quick. And I came in an equal distance from the sides. So coming in an equal distance from here to here. This line didn't work for me because I've got this kicker motor mount in the way, and it gets in the way of the laser. But I came in to the inside of that and came down 5 inches. So I used a speed square like this, came in the same distance here, and measured it out, same distance here, and then used a speed square, and I put pressure pretty much on the first 2 inches of the speed square, because this is again rounded, so I could get a different measurement here easily enough depending on where I put pressure on the speed square. So on both sides I set the thing there and then put pressure on the first 2 inches of the speed square to keep it flat right here. And I feel like the deck is pretty similar, similar enough to give me about the same number coming down. So once I got a line coming down, I stuck the measuring tape in the gap here, which is going to be about similar to that, and I hashed off marks so you can see 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, and I did the same thing here. 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5, and then with you can see this one's just a little off, and you know, it doesn't take anything to say, okay, I just need to come up a little bit. And I get it right on the money. This is with just a laser. The laser also, to make sure that it's cutting across about the middle of the outdrive. And this light here, I don't know if you guys all are going to have something in the very center of your deck, but if you trust the boat manufacturer to have put that dead center, then you can use that, put it, eyeball it dead center there, and I have a tow hook on the back so I know that's dead center. And so it's center and level, plumbing level, I guess. And right now I've got it, the boat as level as I can get it. Then I'm gonna, I have a line that I can either measure down from, or, you know, or if I can't get the laser low enough because of the outdrive, and I can just get the laser here, I have a way closer line, an offset, if you will, to my water line. So even if I can only get the line down this far to where it comes all the way across the bottom of the boat, the laser line that is, then I'll have, what is that, a 3.5, 4-inch offset to my water line. And that's way better than trying to come all the way from up here, you know, and to get a straight water line. So I'll have a good mark there, a good mark there, and then if I set my laser up over here to where I can get the corner of the boat and I'm crossing my mark here, then I'll be able to mark my water line all the way across on both sides, and it'll be dead on, which the boat deserves that. So all right, is that it for the update? I think that's it, gentlemen, ladies, anybody who's watching. I really appreciate your you know, you spending time with me this Sunday morning, and I want to thank my lovely wife for helping me out with this video. Thanks very much. Take it easy.